in this video we're going to be showing you how to assemble this dresser. This dresser features Walker Edison's new easy assembly technology, which means fewer parts, 60 minutes or less to build, and no stress required. Before we get started, here's a few things to keep in mind. Make sure you have a Phillips head screwdriver. Another person can be helpful, and just be sure all the pieces are facing the right way as you're putting it together, and you'll do great. We are going to focus on the trickier parts and go quickly through the easier steps, so make sure you pause the video and complete all the steps as we go. With that said, let's get into it. In step 1, put dowels into all 12 of piece 6, so they should look just like this. Once those are in, you can move on to step 2. We'll be putting dowels into pieces 1, 2, 3, and both of piece 5. In steps 3 and 4, we'll be attaching the rails onto pieces 2, 4, and 8. Make sure you line up the dowels with the holes. And be sure to put them on both sides of piece 2. And then we can screw these in. Okay, once we have all of our sliders attached, then we can move on to step 5. So we'll put these aside. And we'll be putting cam bolts into piece 1 and both sides of piece 2. All right, next we can move on to step 6. Just make sure you put the feet onto all 3 of these pieces, so they look like this. Then you can move on to step 7. We'll be attaching piece 1 and 2 together. And with piece 2, when you're attaching it, make sure that you put it on so that all of the dowel holes are lining up correctly. So with the groove facing towards you, these cam lock holes should be on your right side. Then we can put in 2 cam locks. In step 8, we'll be attaching one of piece 5. So we'll line this up with our cam bolt and our dowel hole. And then we can put in a cam lock. Next we'll move on to step 9 and we'll attach piece 4. And just make sure that this groove goes on the back and the bottom side, so it'll sit like this. Line up our dowels. And then we can put in our bolts. Okay, next we'll move on to step 10 and we'll be attaching piece 3. Stand up our piece like this. I will line up piece 3 along the bottom here, making sure that this groove is facing towards the groove on here. Line up our dowels, and then we can secure this with bolts. And then we can move on to step 11, so we'll lay this back down. Grab our other piece 5 and attach it onto the other side, just like our first one. Once we have this piece secured, we'll move on to step 12 and insert our back panel. So we'll unfold it and then make sure that this tape goes on the back side. So we'll slide it in like this. Once that's in, we'll move on to step 13 and attach piece 8, making sure that the groove lines up. And then we can put in our bolts. All right, next for step 14, we'll lay our piece down. And then we can insert our wedges to secure the back panel. Okay, next we can move on to step 15, so we'll stand our piece back up again. And then we'll insert a dowel into the front hole on each wood slider. All right, and now we're good to move on to our drawers. For steps 16 through 21, we'll be putting together our drawers. These drawers feature the new easy assembly technology we mentioned earlier in the video. We know that building drawers can be a pain, and so we've simplified that with new technology to make it go together much faster. We'll start by taking pieces 6 and 10 and attaching our dovetails. We'll want to insert these into our pieces so that the fins are facing outwards, just like this. And then we'll take the front of our drawer and we'll slide these fins into the groove, making sure that this groove lines up along the back. Then we'll insert our back panel. And then we'll insert our dovetail locks, making sure that this ridged edge is facing inwards. Next, we'll take our back piece, slide this in along the groove. And then we can insert our plastic screws. We'll do the same thing again on the other side. Lastly, we'll lay our drawer down and attach our handle. So we'll put our screws through and line it up. And then we're good to insert our drawer. Okay, once we have all of our drawers in, then we're all done. We hope this video was helpful for you in assembling your new dresser. For more guides, tips, and tricks, head on over to walkeredison.com.